Hey guys, it's Cruz. Today we're going to go over the pass rate for the Florida Business and Finance exam. We're going to go over the pass rate for first-time takers. We're going to go over the pass rate for second-time takers. And I'm going to go over why I think it's so low for first-time takers and then even lower for second-time takers. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so here is the exam performance from Pearson VUE. This is from January 1st, 2024 until July 2025. It was 37 appointments, 37,000 appointments, total no-shows. Who are the people not showing up to the exam? Come on, guys. If you scheduled it, take the exam, give it a shot, give it a try, see what happens. Don't be this no-show here, or don't be this canceled person. If you're canceling it, cancel it for a retake. Don't cancel it just because you don't want to do it. So the only one we're going to talk about in this video is going to be the Florida Construction Business and Finance exam. So total graded for this time period here is going to be 8,044 people. Total pass is going to be 4,549 people, and the pass rate is going to be 57%. So the pass rate currently for the Florida Business and Finance exam is 57%. Total failed right here, and fail rate is 43% here. If you notice here, this is one of the lowest pass rates here. You got 66, 59, 58, 58, 58. You can pause the video and see what the other ones are for here. And if you look here for repeaters, so this is someone that's retaken the exam after they failed. Look here, 3,897 people retook it, and only 1,535 people were able to pass it. The pass rate was 39%. So it goes down here 18% to 39%. Total failed, fail rate 61% right here. So you see here, they average it out, the pass rate for all of it, for the total graded and total pass is going to be 51%, including the repeaters right here. So why do I think first-time takers are failing it? I think the main reason first-time takers are failing it is a lot of people have hands-on experience. So they're like, I have hands-on experience. I've run a business. I've already done construction for 10 years. I have all this experience. I don't think I need to open these books and take a look at it. Then they get into the exam and they're like, what is this? Like, it doesn't really have to do with my hands-on experience for construction. This is more of like a law exam. Like, I don't know these law questions. I think that's what it is. Most people are jumping in there like, oh, I can pass this. I have all the experience. Let me just go give it a shot. They go give it a shot and they're like, holy cow, I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't know this is how the exam was actually going to be like. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are failing it on the first time. I think the second reason why is a lot of people don't know how to navigate the books. They don't know how to navigate the books, or they don't know how to do the math, for example, as well. They're worried about the math. They're worried about how to navigate the books. They watched my highlighting videos on YouTube. They watched someone else's highlighting videos on YouTube. They read a few posts on Reddit. They go and take the exam. They're like, I think I'm prepared from doing this. And then they get in there and they're like, what is this? I'm not prepared for this. I don't know what this exam is talking about. I think that's one of the reasons. I think it's so important to take a course, go over it on a course, have that accountability from taking the course, because when you put money into something, you're most likely to do it. You're more likely to study with it. With these highlighting videos on YouTube, they're free, so anybody can watch it. You don't have anything invested into the videos, so you might just watch it one time. You might just check it out for a few minutes and then not do anything with it again. I think that's one of the reasons why as well. Another point I like to add is people aren't doing the practice quizzes. You're watching the videos, but you're not doing the practice quizzes. You got to do practice quizzes. Like, I did 1,000 practice quizzes before I went and took my exam. You got to do those practice quizzes. You got to put the time and effort into this exam. Treat it like an actual exam. Treat it like it's like a game. Treat it like it's the NBA Finals or the World Series. Be like, all right, I have to do 100 reps of this workout to do it. I have to do 100 questions each day to be prepared for this exam. It's treating it just like an actual thing in real life for this exam. It's a serious exam. Give the respect to this exam it deserves. It's a hard exam. You see here, 57% of people only pass, 51% in total pass this exam. It's not 90% of people are passing this exam. This isn't, for example, like a real estate exam where it's just take a 60-hour course and then you go and pass. This is not a real estate exam. This is, look at these books. Look at this contractor manual. This is a serious book. You gotta know this book to pass this exam. It's very serious. It's not playing games here. So that's why I think a lot of the first time takers aren't passing. Another reason why I think first time takers aren't passing is they don't know how to manage their time. This exam, you have 125 questions. You have 6.5 hours to pass this exam, right? So you got to know how to manage your time. That's what I go over in my course, how to manage your time, how to be prepared. Most people that go through my course have about an hour left of time to review information that they're struggling with on the exam. So you have that time. Most of these people don't have that time. They go through this exam and they are like 15 questions left and they have 5 minutes. And they're like, what do I do? Just guess on all of them. That's what ends up happening, and that's why most of them fail too. Going on to the repeaters. 39% chance for the repeaters. One thing I want to mention here first before we get into the repeaters. Let's talk about cost for the exam to retake this actual exam. So, you fail first time. To retake the exam, you have to register again with floridaexam.com. This is through the state. Registration fee payable to Professional Testing Inc. You're paying $135 just to register to take the exam. And then you got to pay another $80. So we got $135 plus $80, $215 every time you need to retake this exam. This is not cheap, guys. This is not cheap. That's why it's so important to pass on your first try. Put in the work. Put in the time to pass on your first try. Or every time you got to retake it, it's $215. It's a lot of money. That's why I tell everyone, invest in a course. Invest in a course. The course, you have such a higher chance at passing. And with my course, for example, I do. If you go through my course, if you go through my practice quizzes, right, all of them, if you don't pass after doing those, I will guarantee that I will sit down with you one-on-one, me and you. I'll go over anything you want for this exam, one-on-one, if you don't pass after going through the course and the practice quizzes. I will sit down with you. That's how confident I am in the course that I put together. I guarantee I will sit down with you one-on-one if you don't pass after going through the course and the practice quizzes. If you fail this thing the first time, you got to pay an extra $215. So you're talking about right here, $430 if you fail this exam, because you got to pay for the first time and the second time. The course that I have available is cheaper than that. And I'm guaranteeing you that if you don't pass on your first time, I will sit down. I am invested in you guys to pass this exam. Invested with my time. I want you guys to pass. And I'm so confident that after you go through my course, my program, that you will pass this exam. And I'm saving you guys money because my course costs less than having to retake this exam. All right, let's move on to the repeaters. So the repeaters here, 39%. Why does it go down so much? One reason, I think, again, these people are not prepared. They're like, oh man, I got a 65. I got a 60 without even opening the books. I think next time around I get it. They go take it. They're like, what the heck? They're different questions. Every time you take this exam, it's different questions. They're like, what the heck? It's different questions now. Why do I get an even lower score of a 59 when the first time I got a 60? So I think it's those people are trying again, be like, I can get it the next time. I was close. I got a 65. I'm going to try it again get a 75 on this time. And they're not putting in the time. They're not putting in the effort to actually study for the exam and giving the respect the exam deserves. I think that's one of the another reason I think these repeaters is so high, the 39%. I think a lot of people that English is not their first language are taking these exams and they're struggling the translation for the words. I think that's one of the reasons, and I totally get it. It's very hard if English is not your first language and you're taking this exam. In my course, I have the videos in Spanish and in Portuguese too to help out. And another thing, if you're a Spanish speaker, this is a tip for you guys. If you're a Spanish speaker and you're taking this exam, you can take this exam in Spanish. Take the exam in Spanish, and let's say you're like, I like it in English better. The good thing about it is if you take the exam in Spanish, there'll be a little translate button at the top of the screen. And if you don't understand it in Spanish, you can just click that button and it will translate it into English. So if you're a Spanish speaker, take it in Spanish, and if you don't understand the question inside the exam, you can translate it to English to better understand it. That, I think, can help boost your score 5% to get that 75, that 70% to pass the exam if you're a Spanish speaker. But most people might not know that information, and they're taking the exam in English every time because they think I'll get it better in English than I do in Spanish. I think that's one of the reasons. And I think another reason is people aren't preparing again. They're not giving the respect to this exam that it needs to receive. They're not giving the respect to this exam that it needs to receive. You gotta how to navigate these books. You gotta know. That's what I do in my course. How to navigate the books, how to use the table of contents, how to use the index. You gotta know when you get a question, that's very important. When you get a question, you're like, I need to go to the contractor manual for this question, or I need to go to the builder's guide to accounting for this question, or I need to go to the AIA documents for this question. You gotta know how to read the question and distinguish what book you need to go to for that question. That will save you so much time, because if you're in the exam, you don't know what book to go to for that question, you're gonna get inside the contractor's manual when it's really in the builder's guide to accounting. The contractor's manual, over 1,200 pages, you're flipping through all of them, you can't find it, you wasted 20 minutes on this question when it's really in the builder's guide to accounting. So you gotta know how to distinguish what book is the question they're asking the answer in. Another thing, if they tell you the question, if they say, for example, if they say, according to the contractor's manual for a specific question, that means it's inside the contractor's manual. They're not trying to trick you inside the exam. A lot of people think, oh, they're telling me it's inside the contractor's manual. They're trying to trick me. It's actually in AIA documents or Builder's Guide to Accounting. Not true. They're not trying to trick you. So make sure you actually go into the contractor's manual when they tell you to do it. Another thing I think the repeaters fail a lot as well is math. So you're putting so much time and effort into learning the math, right? A lot of people, they're like, oh, I gotta know the math, I gotta know the math, I gotta know the math, I gotta know the math. I know students in my course that I'm like, hey, if you're struggling so much with the math, let's put all of your focus inside the contractor's manual, the Builder's Guide to Accounting, and the AIA documents. Let's put all of them, all your focus into these books. The reason why is you're only gonna get 20 to 30 questions on math. You only need 84 questions to pass the exam. You can get all the math portion for this exam wrong and pass just with the knowledge of the books. But the thing is, most people don't know how to navigate these books correctly. They don't know how to find the answers. So I don't recommend it to certain people, because if you're not in a course, if you're not very strong with these books, do not do that. That is only for people that are very strong with the books and they know they can find the answers in the books. If you don't know how to do that, you do have to focus on the math and get the math correctly. But once again, in my course, I will walk you through this. I will talk to you and be like, all right, you're struggling with the math. Let's focus on the books. Focus on the books, get through the books, learn the books to a T, and you'll be good to go for the exam. Don't focus on that math portion. So that's the video for today. I hope you got a lot of great information with it. I hope you guys are studying, putting in that work, giving the respect you need to this exam. And if you guys want to join my course, if you guys want to ask me any questions, my phone number I'll put up above. You can text me anytime. I answer usually in an hour, 2 hours. I'm always on the phone. I'm always trying to help anybody that's inside my course or has any questions about this exam. I want you guys to get this license. And if you want to join my course, there's a link down below to join the course. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.